Happy Friday, HubSpot Nation. Welcome to another episode of Let's Build the Road to Inbound 2025. Super special guest today, Shana Summers. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Always appreciate when the HubSpotters get to come and hang out on the LinkedIn Lives. So really appreciate you joining today. Got some exciting stuff to talk about. Just a little over a month away from Inbound 25.
Yes, that countdown always hits quickly. Once July hits, you're just like, oh, we can say weeks now that the conference is going to happen. So it's always exciting time, but also just all the last minute details, all of the stress, all the things that come before it. So know that all HubSpotters that are involved with Inbound are deep in still planning, executing, getting everything done. And so it's a busy time for everybody.
Yeah, and I'd love for you to like share a little bit about what this looks like. How many times have you done it now?
This will be my fourth, I believe. Fourth or
Okay.
fifth, because I'm counting the digital one as well. So I think in person, I think this is my fourth.
Okay. Do you get to count any of those because it's in a brand new place this year? Is everything different or is there a lot of similar stuff?
I think there's a lot of differences, but the global events team has done a lot to make sure that the inbound experience is still the inbound experience. I'm excited for this year because before I moved to Chicago, where I'm currently based, I lived in Oakland for about 6 years. And so I am excited to be in San Francisco. It is near where I used to work, it's near all of these restaurants and things that I used to go to. So I'm very excited. But I think at the core, it's still inbound. It's a different layout, it's new things. I think everybody will have to adjust to the different spaces. But I believe that the global events team has made the spaces so intentional and just make it flow a little bit better. This is the time that we get to test out new stuff. This is the time that we get to explore new things. And I think if people come in with that in mind, it's going to be a great experience.
Yeah, definitely in a lot of these conversations, we always appreciate while there's different stuff every year. There's always that feeling of like this is where you're supposed to be. This is still a fit, still the same inbound. Talking to George last week, even going back to like 2014 was his first one. Like, even though it's grown so much, like I think 15,000 people last year ish,
Hmm.
still the same feeling of like, so just a huge credit to that team. Like, I don't know how they accomplish it, but they do. I've definitely been to other industries where these things change over time and just like you can feel when it gets corporate and like as soon as everything changes. But one of my favorite things about inbound is that like that's been handled very well. That said, maybe you could take us through like uh how that's like impacted the spot, and like there's been a couple different experiences in the past few years, and maybe like how Uh, any kind of sneak previews, obviously always welcome, but whatever you can share about what people can expect, in September this year would be awesome.
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know what the Spot community is HubSpot's professional business community for Black and Latina entrepreneurs, side hustlers, founders. And each year at Inbound, we intentionally provide a safe space for Black and Latina folks, but anybody can come through. Just know that it's a safe space. It's one of those where I say, you visit somebody's house, you have to follow their rules. It's the same thing when you come to the spot. Not everybody takes their shoes off at the door. At the spot, you take your shoes off at the door. Those types of things. So it's an intentional safe space. It's an intentional networking space, and we build it based on connection. So there's a lot of activations at Inbound where you can go and sit and work. We encourage you to come and sit and connect. And so over the years, we've done a lot of different things in the activation. You can definitely come in, and there are really cool areas to engage with. We have a lot of really cool areas this year. We have a lot of giveaways to do. But the thing that's going to shift this year compared to other years, where typically we would have all of our programming within the spot. So it would almost operate as a conference within a conference. So we'd have speakers, we'd have some of the main stage speakers come and do a smaller, more intimate talk in our community. We would have workshops on site. With the way that the space is set up this year, it has different zones. And so the spot community will be located in the impact zone. That's where the brain dates will be. That's where one of the meetup sections will be. And that's also where the impact stage will be. So the spot is really going to just be that space for connection, hanging out. You can come in and play games. You can come in and interact with our different activations, come in and win some stuff. We'll have swag, but our programming will shift around the space. So this will be the first time that the spots programming is making it on the main calendar. So if you're looking at programming within the Inbound app and you see the spot logo, that was sponsored or planned by the spot in partnership with someone. And we will have all of our speakers on the impact zone stage, and all of our meetups, which we will have on Wednesday and Thursday. We will have the spot community meetup. We will also have a Spanish and Portuguese meetup. And then we'll also be hosting a bachata lesson on Thursday. So if you want to come and learn, that's from local Oakland dance studio, and we'll be doing that. So it's always a mix of fun and connection within our space. We'll also be hosting different after hours events. So on day one, we'll have an after hours event at a barcade. Day two, we're going to have an after hours event at a karaoke bar. So mix of all things, but in ways for folks to show up in different ways to connect. So that's some of the things that we're going to be doing at the spot.
That sounds like a load of fun. Are you the person that's responsible for always making it the most comfortable space, like in the whole event? Because I could say that, like, that's any experience I've had. It's like, yeah, if you just want to take a load off and just like be comfortable, like
Mm-hmm.
that's the area to go to.
Yeah, that was our goal. We want you to come and stay. We don't want you sitting in stiff chairs and doing things. We want you to be comfortable here and hang out and know that like we are the spot that you can just relax.
Yes. Well, we appreciate you so much for that. You mentioned brain dates in this space, and like I just signed up, I just created one yesterday. Or was it this morning? I'm not like we're going so fast right now. Um, and I've done it a couple times each year it's been available. But that's always been like in the wings. I got to work on my video hand skills. I can't like show far enough, but like the sides, like outside of the main space, right? We've had like the partner meetup areas and brain dates, and you just mentioned it kind of next to everything else. Is that where my mind went? Was should we expect maybe a more like enclosed experience overall and like more like less walking around, I guess is what I'm asking at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure the map of it. I just know that there are 3 zones, and I know that there are different items happening in each zone. And so I know like with the impact zone, we're like the connect space. But I don't know how far that zone is from another zone within the center. The Moscone Center overall is huge. Like I think if people thought that the venue in Boston was big, the Moscone Center could eat it, and then probably its sibling as well. Like that's how big it is. But I think they have done a lot to make sure that it's not confusing moving through, but it's like you know what you're getting to when you go to each space. So couple of different zones, main stage area. Hopefully it's a bit less walking, but it should work out overall is what I think. But I know you'll find me just in the impact zone. So that's where I'm going to get my steps. Not so much walking around. I will be in the impact zone.
Yeah. I think even if it is all in this just giant space, as long as it's like we know where to go, like we can take birds like as the crow flies, like go right there instead of like, okay, which space do I gotta go around? And then so excited to see what's up. That's a big part of this year. And I'm curious, like either inside of the spot or outside of the spot, as you've seen the event come together, is there anything specific that you're looking forward to that has changed, and you're looking to see what the experience is like, or you think you're anxious to see what others are going to think about it?
I'm definitely anxious to see the audience since this will be the first time that it's in San Francisco. I don't think we typically get a lot of the West Coast, Pacific Northwest group. And again, having lived in Oakland for 6 years, working in San Francisco for 6 years, it's such a particular type of people. But I'm really interested to see who comes. Like, I know the diehards are going to be there. I know the people who love HubSpot are going to be there. But I'm like, what about these folks who have never been able to attend inbound because it was on the East Coast and what that audience is going to look like. So I think that's the part I was like, this makes sense as I'm a community person that I'm like, I want to know who the people are going to be and what they're going to think of the space because for a lot of folks, this will be their first time. And then for a lot of folks, it's going to be their 10th time coming and being able to see this. So I'm really interested to see how those two personas kind of like mesh within the space and what they're going to do. Even with the spot, the way that we thought about our theme is that we are reintroducing the spot to a lot of people. And so we were thinking about it in terms of like, we know that there's a good amount of people that are coming that know what the spot is, and they're going to come in and set the tone for the space. But then there's all of these folks who have never engaged with the spot or didn't even know that it existed. So we are treating it as a reintroduction here. So I am excited for the people and to see what these new folks are like. And we're not going to hit the typical Boston group. So I think that's going to be really cool.
Yeah. Immediately, it's like probably gave you the space to maybe be a little more creative and experiment with some things just because you knew
Absolutely
there's
that.
guaranteed to be a bunch of brand new people showing up. And I think that's what a lot of people are challenged with right now is like in terms of organizing and the traditional ways of like you got to know exactly who's going to be showing up and exactly what message like they're going to like. There's so much happening on a daily basis now where it's you can either try to plan for that or just get really good at the core experience that you want to provide. Like it sounds like you've probably leaned into that a little bit. Um, is there anything core experience wise um, that you, I guess you haven't already said that you want to make sure, people understand like this is either why you'd come check out the spots or maybe some people they get confused and uh, anything you've had to answer in the past for like, oh, that's what the spot is. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the folks who come in and understand the space and the folks who come in and have to learn about the space. And so a lot of folks will just assume that it's another comfortable area that they can come and sit and have meetings and just work and do stuff. And I said this earlier where it's like, no, this is a space for connection. So a lot of people actually get shocked when myself and my team come up and say, "Hey, we love that you find it comfortable here to be able to like do this meeting, but we're going to have to ask you to do it elsewhere. This is a space for connection." Or have you heard about this community? Do you understand what you're sitting in? And they'll just be like, "Oh, no." And we're like, "Cool, let me tell you about this." You can tell that they just want to go back to work or they want to get back on that call. And we're like, "Right. So we're going to explain this to you and leave it be to see if, you still feel like you're following the dynamics of what we're trying to build within the spot." And I think this year, like we have such an intentional theme. We have really cool opportunities for folks to just like show their personality and show themselves. Honestly, you come and hang out with us every day and you just need to turn your brain off from thinking about a lot of stuff. The spot is where to go. Every afternoon, we're going to have a game afternoon where we're either playing Uno, spades, Connect Four, Loteria, like all of these things are going to be happening. We'll have really cool giveaways again within the space, opportunities for you to connect, but like earn swag as you're doing it. Um, Different ways that we're going to be able to show up across the conference as well with some of our activations, and then opportunities to learn about what the spot does and how to get involved. So every day we just encourage people come learn and then bring people the next day and continue to bring more people the next day. And so I'm really pumped that we can build the space solely for connection and then be able to have our programming be just right there and say, "Hey, everybody go over to the main stage. We're going to go and watch this thing. Everybody head over to the meetup space. We're about to have our meetup." And then if you're not done meeting up, come over to our space and hang out afterwards. You're not done with the people who are on stage. Most of the folks that we have booked to be on the Impact Zone stage are going to come back to the spot after they're done talking so that they can answer questions one-on-one and get to engage with attendees in that more intimate environment. Like all of them have requested that. They were like, "We have so much to talk about in 30 minutes, but we're not going to finish. Can we come back to the space?" I was like, "You already get it. That's exactly what we're planning on doing. Please come back to the space and you'll get to see those people on stage and then get to come shake their hand and talk to them in the actual activation." So really want to have that connection piece in the space. So I just invite everybody to come and hang out, talk to people, connect with people.
That is awesome, especially in this moment right now where like AI, obviously, an AI first language coming from HubSpot. It's very
Hmm.
easy to misunderstand that as a HubSpot customer, as a a community member. Um, well, I know that all they're really saying is it's a priority that they're developing into the product. It's not we're forgetting about all the humans. Um, how have you? Are you kind of playing? I could see having some fun with that, where it's like, okay, we get everybody's excited about AI, but that's like over there, like over in that zone. Here's where the humans are. Have you played with any kind of stuff like that?
Yeah, I think for us, we're going to have some AI things happening within the space, but it's not anything that we are deep diving into like the rest of Inbound will be. I was like, everybody in Inbound is going to be talking about AI. We'll have a little piece of AI, but really, let's kind of like come here and decompress from all of that. I think the big thing with AI that folks will have to remember moving forward is that human connection is always going to be key. And every day you see folks losing that and losing how to engage with folks, how to network with folks. I see so many people continue to be stressed about networking and connecting with folks, but there's more than one way to network and there's more than one way to connect. And if you're able to do it in a way that's not stereotypical to the whole, hi, this is my job, this is how long I've been here, here's what I do, but actually think about if you got to sit down and play cards with the CEO of a company and you beat that CEO in cards, you can go and connect with them later and be like, hey, remember that time that I beat you in Uno? Like, those are ways that you can come back and still have those really impactful, intentional connections. And so that's our core, is to be sure that while Inbound and HubSpot are doing AI first, we are still going to be human first in all of the things that we do. So we want to be sure that folks have the safe space to connect, whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, whether you are hiring or looking for a job, or whether you're just trying to learn more about AI. I feel like AI is one of those things that it's like we all have to connect around AI because somebody knows something and somebody knows something else. So why not sit down and talk about it? So that's how I view it, is just human first, and we're going to learn everything once we have that connection.
Okay. I Yeah, I love that. I think it's a nice place to be when you understand that because it's pretty easy to differentiate right now against all the AI first stuff happening. But I'm curious, as a community leader, and somebody that wants to take care of the community as well as you do, how are you finding ways to utilize AI to enable all the human to human stuff? Because I think that's what it's easy to feel like, replacement is coming, but there's so much stuff that never would have happened, like and never would happen if we didn't have awesome people like yourself now enabled to reach a scale like of just human to human conversations that you never would have been able to because you get admin stuff off of your plate.
Hmm.
So I'm curious from a community manager's perspective, like where are you like getting the most value out of AI?
So one great piece for community building in AI. So I also, on top of running the in-person activation at Inbound, we have a year-round community. And within that space, like on a platform. So think Facebook group, but like times 10, and we get to own all the visuals around it, all of the data around it, things like that. And the longer that you've had a community, the more information that's in that community space. And a lot of times folks come looking for certain things, are interested in certain topics, want to connect with certain kinds of people. And AI is helping drive that search. It's making it easier to find the topics that folks have discussed. If there are questions that need to be answered, folks are in there. Or we have a breakdown of folks in a bunch of different titles and a bunch of different industries. So being able to pull those people together and show who they are. So it's kind of adding a level of ease that goes into the space. As well, with us specifically for the spot, we've hosted different events that are led by Black and Latina leaders who are in the AI space. And you're already not hearing stories about Black and Latina leaders in AI. And that's a lot of capital and equity that I could dive into for a whole other conversation. But to be able to have these folks be seen as the leaders and at the forefront of AI and being able to teach our community those skills, like our events are open to everyone. So being able to come in, like you could come in and then see a Black woman who's up here teaching these skills about AI, it's really great. But also being able to teach about the equity gaps in AI and how it's being addressed by different companies and what that looks like. I think that educational piece is key for our community and the work that they do. So those are kind of the top two big ways that we have implemented them for the spot community specifically.
Oh, we know those gaps, like just the awareness gaps. I get excited to, and part of the reason I do this content is I get to learn about like new things that are happening that I didn't know about before. And like immediately, a lot of what I do on LinkedIn is to try and create spaces, like just making it easier, like dead simple for experts and people who want to share expertise, to be able to share that, like at a lot like today. Like if we, and a lot of people that I know, like they kind of get in their heads about all the prep that needs to happen before an episode, and obviously we didn't have any of that here, and I think we're having a pretty good conversation. Um, so like what came to mind is, usually do a Friday show. We didn't do it today, but there's an AI skills show that I do with George and Nico that we like to have people on, and it sounds like there's some follow up I could do with you there. But also just we have all these things happening in silos inside of the ecosystem that
Hmm.
if we could connect those dots, and I think to your point, that's where if we ask AI for the right kind of help, it can start to connect those dots very quickly and create visibility where there hasn't been much. Um, but inbound wise, I'm curious as just an inbound goer. Hopefully, you get to actually think about it from this perspective, as just somebody who's going to enjoy inbound. Is there anybody specific, or who are you excited to see, maybe that you haven't seen before, or somebody you haven't seen in a while?
I am excited to see Glennon Doyle speak. She, one, besides being a very funny human, I think that she just does really good work externally and especially in like the women's sports lens. I'm a big women's sports fan. I play professional football. Like these are things that I'm really excited to like hear her talk about. Also, Marcus Brownlee. I think I've never seen him speak in person. I've seen clips of him speaking and the work that he does, and I'm very excited to see what he brings to the table. Those are the two main stage speakers. But like with the spot community as well, we're hosting a talk with VC panels. We're hosting a VC panel and also going to have a talk with the two women who founded Drafted, which is a Latina media company for Latina women in sports. And so I'm very excited for all of that conversation to happen throughout. I'm like, I helped plan this conversation, but I'm like, I am so excited to see what they're going to talk about and the work that's going to go there. So those are the two main stage ones. And then the other two are going to be in the impact zone for your programming. So add that to your schedule, add that to your calendar. Come over and hang out with us in the impact zone.
Yeah, no, I love that, and that's why I asked it that way. It can be like easy to think that there's all this strategy. It's like, all right, who's going to be like bringing the most people, and it's like, no, I'm just like, I really want to, like, I'm excited to see what this person like has to say or meet them. And it's like kind of like, yeah, if everybody else gets value, great, but I'm gonna enjoy this at least. And usually that's when you resonate the most,
Yes.
with the community that you built. So did you say like you play or played
I currently
professional?
presently play. But my first season was this year. I played tight end for the Chicago Winds in the WNFC. So yeah.
Okay, I've got 3 minutes left, and I need it to all be about that.
Yeah,
How
no,
does
it's
that how does that come to pass? I'm
you
curious.
know, so many things have to happen, but I've played flag football since 2017. So it's always been in like recreational leagues and adult leagues. And then when I moved to Chicago, I started playing in travel leagues, played lots of different styles. So if you watch flag football, there are so many different styles of flag football that are happening, and it's just blowing up in popularity, and I love to see it. But the WNFC has been around, I want to say, since 2019. I feel like that's the wrong number, but it's been around for a minute. And they have about 18 teams across the country. And so previously, Chicago used to have a tackle team before. They were called the Force. And that was, I want to say, like 2014 to 2017. And then that team had to leave. And then the new owner previously played on the Force and franchised another team out here for the Chicago Winds. And this year was our first season. And we finished the season 5-1, which is a record for an inaugural team. This is the first time an inaugural team has made it to the playoffs. And we had our quarterback and our wide receivers both were MVPs and Rookie of the Year for the season. And our team overall broke a ton of records. Folks thought we were going to come into the season 1-5, and we went 5-1. So it was really great to have that moment as well. But it was very fun, really cool experience, a lot of learning. So yeah, like we are full gear, tackle, helmets, all the pads. I'm in the weight room all the time type energy. So yeah.
Okay. Man, that is that I'm definitely a little jealous. Always had aspirations of playing football growing up, especially in a receiver kind of role. So
Mm-hmm.
sounds like another conversation I need to stop by and have with you
Absolutely.
when we're
I can talk
there.
football all day.
Exactly. Uh, Anything else that we haven't talked about that you just want to make sure people know about the spot as we wrap up?
No, I think it's one of those things where even if you don't fall under the identities of the spot, still come by, still hang out. Like the space, again, is open to everyone. Just know that it is a safe space and that we ask you to act accordingly. But you will come, you'll relax. We have a lot of comfortable seating. Again, games, prizes, activations, and we'll tell you all about the schedule of programming that's going to be really great. And if anything, be sure to be there on Thursday for our bachata lesson. We'll have a great time.
There you go. Well, we thank you so much for coming by today and sharing your love and excitement for Inbound, and we're excited to see you there. Thanks so much,
Yeah,
Shana.
great to see you. I will be very excited to see you there. And thank you so much for having me on.
Awesome. Well, everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.